Alright guys, welcome to the Millionaire School of HFX. This is an introductory course. Alright, so we're going to be looking at beginner's guide, that is understanding the basics of what candlestick, understanding the basics of candlesticks. Alright, it's important to know what candlestick is, alright, so that you not just look at a chart and then you are confused. Alright, so we're going to be looking at understanding the candlestick for today. Right now we shall be looking at understanding how to read a chart and what each candle is telling you. Alright, so that's what this course is going to be all about. Now, understanding the basics of candlesticks. Now, if you look at this chart, right, our chart always looks like this, right, irrespective of the trend. Alright, it looks like this. While I was coming up, I just saw something like this. Right, as a beginner, I saw this like, wow, what is this red and blue, candles? What does it signify? I was lost. But today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about candlesticks, so that when you look at them, you should be able to understand. Understanding candlestick give you a high win rate as well, because you know what the market is speaking. All right, you know exactly what the market is saying. Looking at candlesticks alone, all right, there are people that trade just based on the candlesticks, right? So it's an advantage to you. All right, so this is what we're going to be looking at. You're going to be understanding what a candlestick is all about, what the body, the wick, and the rest represent. Now, first of all, I want you to understand that the chart consists of the bullish, which is called the bias, or the green candle you see at the left here, and also the bearish or seller's candle, which is the red candle you can see. All right, the first one, which is the bias candle, begins from below here, all right, below to the top. All right, whereas in the opposite, the seller's candle begins here, that is, it opens here. When I say begins, that means it opens here, all right, at the top, and then closes below. That is what you just need to understand about this. The bullish candle, which is the bias candle, all right, moves or begins below and then closes at the top. For the sellers, it begins at the top here and then closes below it. Now let us proceed. Now, a candlestick has the body and the wick. All right, let's look at the body. What is the body? The body is the fat rectangular part of the candlestick. Right, it's called the body. All right, so the body gives you the information. All right, gives you the opening part of the candle, gives you the closing. All right, the body is the real the area at which price opens and then close. All right, so just as I said, in this bullish or the bias candle, it opens below and then it closes where? At the top. All right, so when you see a candle on the chart, just know that when you see a green candlestick like this, it's a bias candle, which means price increased. All right, so it begins below and then ends at the top. Right, but for the red, it begins at the top, all right, and ends below. That is to say, the green goes up, shows increment in price, whereas the red shows a drop in price. All right, now, so this is what the body is all about. The rectangular part of the candle is known as what? The real body. All right, let's proceed. Okay, what can you see here? The wick. We're going to be looking at the wick. Now, the wick is that part of the candlestick that looks like a needle. All right, it is found above or below the candle. As you can see, that tiny thing you see there is called the wick. The wick, is important to know what the wick does, or the psychology behind the wick. Right, you can see, I just told you that the rectangular part, all right, is the body, right, but that tiny part on top and below is what we call the wick. Now, the wick also tells you the highest price during the period, right? The highest price. That is to tell you that, let's just take a look at this bias candle, that is the green candle, for example. Now, that is to say that the price went as high as this, as high as the wick, before that candle expires, depending on the time frame. All right, that is why I say it does what? That's why I said it depends upon the time frame. If it's a 5 minute candlestick, then you understand that within that 5 minutes, the price rises up to the top here, but comes down back and closes at the top here. All right, yeah, and then below it, you know that the price went down here. All right, below the lowest point here, which is the lowest point of the week here, before it pushed back here. All right, yeah, and same thing with the red. Anything you see about the week, it shows you the highest point at which the price reaches. All right, highest price, the highest point at which it got to. So now if you look at this red candle now, you see that price pushed downwards. All right, if price, first of all, when it opened, all right, it opened at the top here. We said it opened at the top, closed below. So when it opened, you can see that the buyers pushed this market up, all right, and then it reaches this maximum, this highest point, and then it came down. The sellers pushed it down below the body again, down to the end of this week. And then what happened? The buyers went up, pushed it a little bit, and then it closed here. Right, that is what you need to understand about the candlestick. Right, yeah. So now let us proceed. Right, so what you need to know here, that the wick is that part of the candle that is what, like a needle. All right, you can see it there. It also gives you information. Understanding the wick is an advantage, because it shows you entry of buyers or sellers depending on what you are looking at. Let us proceed. Now, I want you to understand something now, because there are so many questions beginners ask, and this is going to be answering them. All right, I want you to know that each candle gives you information over a period of time. Like once you put it on 5-minute chart, it simply means the candle is giving you a 5-minute information. All right. Once you move it to 15 minutes, it simply means one candle represents 15 minutes. If you put it on 1 hour, it simply means one candle represents 1 hour, and so on. If you put it on 1 minute, one candle represents 1 minute. All right. So that is it, depending on the time frame at which you are seeing it. Now, a bullish candle shows what? That the price has increased over the period of time. That means the price opened. That is why I say the price opened below and then it pushed up. All right, rises up. But the bearish, all right, it shows that the price has decreased over the period of time. All right, it can be in 5 minutes, can be in 15 minutes, and the rest. All right, depending on the candlesticks you are looking at. All right, so if you look at the 1 hour candlestick now, all right, you can decide to see, okay, now let us see what happened in that 1 hour. You now go to 30 minutes. That is, you have divided the 1 hour into 30 minutes. That is 2 candlesticks now. All right. So that is how you keep dividing it down depending on the time frame you want to look at it from. So candlesticks give you information concerning, right, what is going on in the market. All right. Now let us proceed. Now let me explain what this actually means to you now. You have to understand something, right? Now, looking at this is a bearish candle. That is to say, this is a seller's candle, right? And I told you that seller's candle open at the top and closes below, right? Open at the top and closes below. But these wicks, all right, from the understanding I gave to you, and I made you understand what wicks mean, all right? They are important part of the candlestick as well, giving you enough information. Like for this large one here, what it's trying to tell you is that the market open at the top, open at the top, push downwards down to the end of this week here, the highest point here, which is the end of this week, and then the buyers pushed it back, but it later closed here, all right, at the body here. All right, so the body is where it closes. All right, now the same thing here, you can see the buyers pushed it down up here. That is why you can see this longer wick. All those wicks you are seeing is the function of the forces of the buyers against the seller. All right, but they are all, because they all closed as what? As a seller's candle. All right. However, if you look at this, you know that there are more participation. All right, there is a force from the buyers. That is the reason why it pushed back here. So I'm making you understand the reason why the candlesticks looks like this. So whenever you see a candlestick, you should try to read meaning into it. All right. Yeah, you try to read meaning into it. The wick is the point, is the force, all right, that drives the candlesticks. All right, the force of it, it's majorly controlled by the force of demand and supply. All right, yeah, you can see, looking at this final one, it opened at the top here. The sellers pushed it downwards to the end here, right? But the buyers still gathered forces, and then they pushed it, sold it, bought it up here, and then it closed again as a seller, right? As a seller's candle. So that's that about that. And then let us look at this. those candles are important. At times you look at the chart, you see this. All right, what is it trying to tell you? Those are indecision candles. All right, call it dodgy as well. All right, in this kind of candle, all right, the market opens, goes up and down, but still closes almost the same place, or the same place, the same area. All right, those are indecision candles. You can see at the top. All right, they gives you signals as well of reversals. All right, and at times when you see something like this, I usually tell when you see something like this all over the chart, I usually tell my students to stay off this market. Right, this is a point of indecision in the market. All right, you can just see wicks going up and down, and then tiny body telling you that it opened and closed it almost in the same area. All right, so let us look at here. All right, now I want you to know that from this course you shouldn't get confused anymore when you look at the chart. All right, now you have to first of all understand that every other indicators you may have, all right, is following the direction of the candle. So it's very important to know what the candle is saying per time, and that is why I took my time to show you what this means. All right, so thank you very much, and see you in the next class.